right, you found it. It's the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video, Weather for Weather Geeks, the Tuesday evening edition here on the 22nd day of March 2022. It was a cloudier day as promised today, and also a little bit cooler and even a little bit damp at times today. So let's take a look at temperatures today. They underachieved a little bit today, thanks to the not only extensive cloud cover, but the little bit of rain that parts of the area had around early afternoon today. So we had a high of 58, I believe, in our forecast, 57. And we fell short of that by 5 or 6 degrees in most spots this afternoon. Now, 52 is still above the average for this time of the year. The average is about 50, so, hey, we were still playing with house money, even though, again, temperatures did not get as warm as expected. We're trying to get a little more rain in parts of the valley early this evening. As of this recording at 7:06, again, much like earlier today, some of this is not reaching the ground, but some of it that is reaching the ground, it's light rain, it's sprinkles here and there. We still have a layer of pretty dry air in the lower levels of the atmosphere, much like we did earlier today. Now, if the precipitation comes down hard enough, it can overcome that dry layer of air, and we saw that in parts of the area early this afternoon. That'll be the case early this evening as well. Much, much heavier rain, of course, off to our south with our week-long severe weather event still in progress across the deep south. Now, this, of course, was in Texas yesterday, and this is producing severe weather this evening. Mississippi, western parts of Alabama, parts of Louisiana have had some tornadic activity today, although the event overall today has underachieved a little bit. This was a high-end severe weather threat today for parts of the lower Mississippi Valley. And while we have had some unfortunate tornadic storms, we haven't had as many as we could have given the ingredients down there in the south today. So a little bit of rain, some sprinkles this evening. Shower chance will remain in the forecast for the overnight, but higher chances of wet weather are in the forecast for the start of the day tomorrow. I think as a lot of people head off to work and school Wednesday morning, it's going to be raining out there. Probably no thunder and lightning at that point. Now let's talk about tomorrow's severe weather risk across the region. With their midday update today, the Storm Prediction Center, sometimes you hear me refer to them as SPC, the abbreviation. It's part of NOAA, the National Weather Service. They're based in Oklahoma, and they give the national severe weather outlooks for each day, and they update these a few times a day. And the midday outlook today upgraded our regional risk on Wednesday to what we call slight. And again, if you're kind of new to these outlooks, I prefer to give the numbers rather than the terms, because the terms can be confusing to some. What's the difference between enhanced and moderate and slight? And their choice of words not great, but the numbers help you out. And if you think of the scale of risks as a 1 to 5 scale, this yellow area is a 2 on a 1 to 5 scale. It now includes Columbus and Mansfield, Dover, New Philly, down to Zanesville and Cambridge. And the 1, the low-end risk of severe weather in the dark green, gets over to about Warren to Youngstown and points off to the south. The overall regional risk lowest in much of western PA. Now, the risk overall for some heavy, gusty storms tomorrow will indeed be highest to our south and west. It's something, though, that we can't totally rule out around here. Even though kind of half of our area is in the green and half is not, no matter where you are in our 5-county viewing area, it's a day to stay weather aware tomorrow, because while it's not going to be a big outbreak, we have that low-end chance of some squirrely showers with possible thunder pushing through right around dinner time or towards sunset or just beyond sunset Wednesday evening. And any of these storms could try to rotate a little bit. And, we're not expecting high-end tornadoes or anything like that. But a very weak, isolated tornado, it's a low risk. But it's not a zero risk, so it's worth mentioning for late in the day tomorrow. Isolated wind damage, a possibility as well. All of this is on the lower end of the range of possibilities. The most likely outcome tomorrow is that we have some gusty showers that push through early in the evening, and it kicks up the wind, and if your trash can is empty, maybe it blows it down the street a little bit. But the risk for some sort of higher-end weather is not zero, so we do want to talk about it. And the overall tornado risk, much like the overall severe weather risk tomorrow, is higher in places like Mansfield and Columbus and Zanesville and New Philly, down towards Dayton and Cincinnati. It's a 2% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of any location in the green across those parts of Ohio. The parameters tomorrow are not through the roof, that is for sure, but we have a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere. And what we're talking about, when we talk about wind shear, it's the change in wind direction and or speed with height through the atmosphere. And we have a lot of what we call directional shear tomorrow. The low-level winds are mostly south to southeast. Upstairs a few thousand feet, they're more out of the southwest, and they're screaming out of the southwest. It's a strong wind up there in the kind of 3,000 to 5,000 foot above our heads range tomorrow. What we don't have tomorrow is a lot of instability. We're going to have clouds for most of the day. We'll have some showers here and there. And so the atmosphere is not going to be super unstable tomorrow. And so therefore the overall severe weather risk, including the tornado risk, is on the lower end. But as you can see, if you look carefully, there's some gray here. There's a little uptick in our significant tornado parameter tomorrow. It's all towards the lower end. And I don't think significant tornadoes are all that likely at all. Just run-of-the-mill weak tornadoes are not all that likely, but it is a non-zero chance. I think if we do get a couple of spin-ups, it would be something like in the EF0, perhaps at most EF1 range. And again, most of this risk is going to be closer to central and western Ohio. So we start the day with showers tomorrow. While there could be a passing shower or two, midday into the early afternoon, I think there will be some dry intervals as well. But it's right around this time, early in the evening, with the kind of cold front, the occluded front, the warm front, all nearby. You got your southwest winds coming in like this. You still have southeast winds over here, and you just got a lot of wind shear going on. And so it's just going to be a situation we have to watch carefully. Now, as we go into the day Thursday, our model here is a little too pessimistic, I think. I think some of this clearing that the model is depicting off to our east will be a little bit closer to our area. And so I've got a dry forecast for Thursday with a mix of sun and clouds, and then shower chances will increase by Thursday night and Friday and the weekend. Yuck. This is just a gloomy, raw day Friday with temperatures in the 40s, some passing showers around, a gusty breeze. I mean, when you look up raw in the weather dictionary, Friday is the kind of day we're talking about. And speaking of raw and chilly, how about the weekend forecast? Yeah, rain and snow showers here and there Saturday. We'll wake up Sunday morning with cold northwest winds, some snow flurries around. Maybe there's even a heavier snow shower in some spots with a Lake Huron connection, probably aimed at northwest PA. But this is a weather map that's more typical of February rather than the final weekend of March. We'll shake the snow flurries probably by Sunday afternoon, and just a chilly but probably uneventful start to next week. All right, Severe Weather Awareness Week rolls on in the state of Ohio. Pennsylvania has their Severe Weather Awareness Week in a few weeks into, the middle of April. You may have seen by now the pretty dramatic footage out of Texas yesterday of a pickup truck being rolled over by a tornado with someone inside of it. Then the truck ends up sitting up correctly and then is able to drive off after being rolled over by a tornado. That person extremely lucky to have survived that, and to be honest, the person filming it got awfully close. I don't often share a lot of tornado footage, even though it's dramatic, because the way in which it's captured, it's not necessarily something I want to promote that much because some people are putting themselves in a lot of danger. But anyway, it begs the question, if you're caught in a situation like that, we talk a lot about indoor tornado safety. If you're in your home, your business, your school, but what if you are in your car and a tornado is threatening? It depends a little bit on what kind of situation you're in. If you're in a situation in which there's little or no traffic, your best bet is to try to drive away from the tornado if you can see it. And taking a right angle away from it is the way to go. Now, if you're in a situation in which you're in heavy traffic and, hey, there's a tornado right over there, your best bet is actually to get out of the car if you can. It's a little bit safer. Now, neither situation's great, but it's a little bit safer. It's a better bet if you're able to get out of your car, get as low onto the ground as you can, and cover your head. So a ditch, a little low spot, that's going to be marginally safer, but safer than staying in your car, in which you're a little more susceptible to the tornado moving you around. More blowing glass, more blowing debris problems if you're in your car. Again, neither situation is fantastic, but it is preferable, if you can, to get out of your vehicle and find a low spot in a ditch somewhere and cover your head. You have a somewhat better chance of not being injured or worse if you do that rather than staying in your car. Again, just depending on the situation where the tornado is. But if you can visually see a tornado and you're in your car and you can't drive away from it, may take a little bit of bravery, but you may be better off getting out of the car. All right, more Severe Weather Awareness Week information coming up later this week. We'll have you covered tomorrow evening if we do have some interesting showers and storms across our region. Of course, live streaming coverage, weather for Weather Geeks and the Storm Tracker 21 app. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your Tuesday night.